Welcome to Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news, trends, and insights from Littlefield Agency. Grab your coffee, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Roop's here. It's good to see you. Yeah. Claude, good to be back. To our listeners, welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. I am Sam Littlefield, and with me is
Roop.
How you doing there, partner?
I'm okay.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Are you hot?
I'm just right.
If you're in the perfect, I love it. I love to hear that. What an answer. If you're in the Midwest, we're in a sweltering heat condition. Yeah, it's. But you know, though, some of the other, oh gosh, so hot. It's like, yeah, it is summertime in Oklahoma, and we've had a pretty mild summer so far. For our friends down in Florida, a tropical storm. We hope you guys are safe and okay. I think it's just going to be just pretty rainy, a little windy. Hopefully, nothing too crazy. But we're excited. We got a great episode ahead today.
Yeah.
How much talking do you think you're going to do?
Less than 10% of this episode.
I'm just glad you showed up with the book.
And I have my bookmark from 2023 in there.
From 2023, yeah. Which is the last time that he read this book. Yep. Here we are in 2026. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Spoiler alert, I didn't really read it.
We'll talk about that here momentarily. We had a great visit yesterday. Crew over in Carthage, Missouri, H.E. Williams. They didn't get back on the road until 3 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow. I called Brock around 3 because I hadn't heard from him. He's like, man, we're literally just getting in the car. I was like, wow, what a great productive day. We had a crew scouting for grasshopper.
People were everywhere.
It was really interesting. I don't know if you all noticed this. There was not one account person over at the agency yesterday because everyone was with clients, et cetera. And I was like, I can't even tell you the last time that happened.
Yeah.
In the sense of we literally, because usually they're staggered throughout the week, right? There's usually someone here.
Yeah. I counted, there were I think 8 people in the office, maybe.
Yeah. It was chill. Chill Monday, but good to get back into the swing of things after a great weekend. I want to dedicate this episode. Have we ever dedicated an episode?
Most likely. We've done over 250 of these things, so I probably
I guess so. But have we dedicated it? I know we give shout outs.
I feel like you dedicated a couple.
Well,
but if you want to do this,
I've
is the first
slept
one.
since then, and so maybe this is our second.
Or third or fourth.
To my friend Scott Vaughn, I'm gonna give you a shout out. Claude, let's give him some sort of cool sound of some sort. We're working on it.
I feel like we have exactly 2 sounds on the soundboard.
You got this, Claude.
There's one
I knew that's what it was. There we go. So this is really interesting. Scott is the catalyst for us being on what we're going to talk about here shortly today. And I literally had a missed call from him yesterday, and I called him back in the afternoon. And he's like, "Hey man, are you still on the EOS and traction?" And I was like, "Did you see my LinkedIn post?" And he was like, "Maybe." And he goes, "But you're still on it, right?" And I was like, "Dude, we're doing a full podcast episode on this literally tomorrow, today." And I was like, we're going to give you a big freaking shout out to Scott, to the catalyst that got us on this wonderful thing. Shout out to you, my friend. Hope you enjoy this as he's scaling another company, sold to a former company. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But today our topic is traction. How do you build traction to grow your team, to grow your business? We want to caveat this. I think it's really important. First off, we're holding, if you're watching the video, we're holding our books here. I am actually really impressed. Roop still has his book. I didn't even know you had a physical copy.
I did. Did I have a hardback, or are you the only one that has a hardback?
I have no. So I'll get to that in here in a little bit. Okay. I might be the only one with a hardback because this was sitting in our library here at the agency in Tulsa.
Oh.
Because David Littlefield, August of 2017, read this book.
What? I didn't know this.
If you're watching the video here, David Littlefield. So anytime a Littlefield reads the book,
they sign it.
We always sign and date just so we can remember where we. So Sam Littlefield, July of 2022, and David Littlefield in August of 2017.
I didn't know this.
If you were listening to last week's episode, I said if you give this book to 10 people, 5 will read it and 1 will implement it. My father probably heard about this book, maybe from Scott, I don't know, maybe from someone else, maybe someone in a CEO network group. And he read it. There's some highlights, but we know for a fact he did not implement it, and that's okay. But the big thing is, if you're going to read this book, what we're going to talk about today, if you don't implement it, it's kind of a waste of a read, in my opinion.
Oh yes,
wouldn't you? But did you read it?
So here's what happened.
Here we go.
I get a lot of book assignments from Sam, and I might. This might be one of the first ones, right?
I think it was.
It was up there. So I think I did read all of this one, but normally what I do is kind of skim it, and then I get the audio book. I listen to it.
That's okay. You see that?
But I think I read this one, and I will say, as someone who likes audiobooks over this is probably better in your hand reading it. It's got charts and graphs and stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's one thing to listen to it in the car, which is fine, but I'm going to open up my book here. I literally have pages falling out. I'm going to show this section here. It is maybe somewhere in here. I'm finding maybe. Oh, there it is. This whole section, page 171 to 188, has literally been exhausted. It's actually a very, very important part of the book. And here's the thing: before we lose those, they're like, "Oh, I don't run a company.
We've already lost them."
Damn, that's okay.
Bye,
well,
guys.
better late than never. If you are not a marketing leader, a CMO, marketing director, VP of marketing, that is okay. Because if you are, by the way, go tell your C-suite you need to do this. It's a great thing. I have sent this to marketing directors who are not on an executive team, but hey man, it's just hey man or lady. It is a great plan in place to have for your teams. Here's what this is. It's not a book. It's an accountability tool. And it's not rocket science. Honestly, it's kind of a boring read if I'm going to be honest, but it's my Bible.
It's a fast read.
It's a fast read, and it is an accountability tool of what can you do today and how do you get a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, how do you get to your goals? So that is what we're going to talk to you about today. We're going to get into a vision traction organizer. We are going to talk the ins and outs of this book. And if we bore you to death, we apologize, but it's good for us to switch up content. This might be the best episode ever. Probably not.
We don't know.
That's okay. Bear with us. So I want to go back to July of 2022. That means that I met with Scott Vaughn June of 2022. We had a drink at the Summit Club downtown Tulsa. He had just scaled, and I believe he had just sold or was about to sell a big healthcare company, and he did quite well for himself. So I told Scott I'd just bought the agency, and I had a good first year. I said, man, I need sustainable growth. I have a grow or die mentality, as we know. And Scott very nonchalantly is like, hey, this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but all you have to do, there's this book called Traction. And if you read this book, but not only read it, if you implement this book, you will grow. And that was that. I was expecting just this mind-blowing oration. And it was like, hey, read the damn book. And good things will happen. So what did I do? I went home in July of 2022, and I read this book. And then what did I do? I said, hey, team, we're going to read this book, and then we're not only going to read the book, we're going to implement it. And he told me, he was like, hey, implementation is kind of awkward. There are you can pay a traction implementer, and we did not go that route to start. But it's a pretty awesome way to focus on your business and to potentially grow your business. So you're thinking, okay, hey, Sam. And by the way, grow your business, grow your team, structure your team, accountability. Like it's what insert said thing here. If you have a goal and you want to achieve it, this is the place to do it. So if you look at this, and if you're listening, that's totally fine.
We'll put this graph on the website. This
is called a VTO, Vision Traction Organizer. I have a blank one. There's some things that I left in here, but it's two sides of the paper. And this is your roadmap, right? Oh my gosh, two pages, simple, easy, and this is your 1, 3, and 10-year roadmap. Yes, it is. So, what we're going to walk through. You read this as an executive team. You read this as a marketing team. You read this as a sales and marketing team. Whatever your team structure is, you're identifying your values. Okay, company values. We're big LFG people, so we adapted it to LFG. LFG is let's freaking go. For today's purposes, Littlefield team first. Freaking go to the edge, and gotta adapt or die. It's what we stand for as an agency. We publicize these on our website. Our clients know these values. We live them out every day. We go over them every staff meeting. We give staff shout outs about L, F, and G. Give us examples of how you've adapted or died. Give us an example of Littlefield team first, and freaking go to the edge, right? So it runs the gamut there. A good reminder, what I found is you got to tell people over and over and over again. And if you walked to Claude, it's like, hey, what does F stand for? She would say,
freaking.
Go
to the edge.
Thank you. There we go.
Freaking.
See, but again, right? It's just it's rhythmic and repeatable, and that's okay. So here's the thing: you've got your core values. You have your core focus. Okay, your focus as a team, your focus as a company. And then it literally gets into your strategy. What is your target market? What makes you unique? And here's the beautiful thing about this document. This changes every quarter. Talk to them about that.
Yeah. So core values are locked down.
We have not changed those since 2022.
In the time I've been here, I think we've gone through at least 2 or 3 sets, and this is the first one that stuck.
Yeah.
So right out of the gate, I'm a believer of the system now, because if Scott had given me this book and said read it, I'd been like, sure.
Yeah.
But like it actually works. So like no one's more skeptical of this stuff than me. I want to say up front, and I'm a believer of this. So yeah, the core values, we always review them, spend maybe a millisecond saying, these are good, they're locked in.
Our focus has changed.
Our focus does change.
Our marketing strategy
changes a little bit.
Yep. Our uniques change, I would say, probably once or twice a year.
Those change. The further you get down the list, I'd say the more often we change it, I've noticed.
And this is, as we talk about 3-year and 10-year picture here in a little bit, it has changed so much, and it changes almost every quarter on those realms. And by the way, you're focused on what are your revenue targets 3 years from now? What's your profitability? What are your measurables? And what does that look like as an agency, right? As a company, as a marketing team, whatever your situation is. What we want to walk through is, okay, Sam, so, we have quarterly marketing offsites. We have quarterly team offsites. We've got, an annual meeting.
We know how to plan.
But we know how to plan. Back in the day when we'd go to our annual offsite, which was once a year, we never had quarterlies. Just say, where do we want to be in a year? Mm-hmm. And we'd have some nice discussions. Mm-hmm. But this gets down to the brass tacks. And so I'm going to start with today. Today at noon, what do we have? Your favorite meeting of the week?
L10.
L10 is called a level 10 meeting, okay? So you have weekly, 52 weeks a year, minus Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we have 51 meetings a year that are level 10 meetings. You're coming together, and everything in that weekly meeting is playing up to, I have what we call rocks. Rocks are goals. It's a silly thing that they phrase this.
Yeah, they call them rocks. There's a whole thing behind it. We don't want to spoil it.
We won't get into that. But rocks are your goals. So my goals. So in our 90-day quarterly touch base, I want to achieve, and everyone on the leadership team, everyone on your marketing and sales team, whatever the situation is, you all have at least one goal. You don't want to have 10 because you can't knock out 10 things.
And I'll say the planning part, like when we were talking about that, most people can sit down and come up with goals or ideas or things they want. The rocks is really how you achieve those things, I think, in the traction book. Yep. They're really the meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
100%. And so we all have individual rocks, and then we have company rocks. Mm-hmm. Again, 3 to 7 max. I don't think we've ever done 5, 6, or 7. We focus on 3.
We're pretty tight, yeah.
Your level 10 meetings lead to those 90 days. Those 90 days when you get and come above the clouds and you're at 30,000 feet and you're sitting there looking, and it's a yes or no answer. Mm-hmm. Did you complete the rock? Did you not complete the rock?
On track,
yes,
off track.
On track, off track. Yes, no. If you don't complete 80% of your rocks, that has to be carried over to what we call your issue list. Issue list sounds a little intense. Mm-hmm.
It can be,
but it's an issue if you don't achieve your goals, because then you're off track for your 1 year and your 3 year and your 10 year.
Yeah.
So again, not rocket science. It's an accountability tool. And guess what? And we've had this happen. I've been guilty of it, by the way. Is when the whole executive team, when the whole marketing team achieves their rocks and you haven't, it's a gut punch.
Oh, you feel bad?
I do.
Roop. I've never not done it.
He does carry over his rocks. However, though, but he's got big, grandiose rocks.
Boulders.
So stepping stones to get to said goal by the end of the year, and you always do achieve those. I will give you credit there. There was a time where everyone had checked off their rocks, even you, and I didn't. And it wasn't because I was slacking. Things just didn't fall plan into place, but it went to an issue. And okay, Sam, over the next 90 days, how do you get this across the finish line? I did.
Yeah, and when you've kicked it to an issue and you're discussing it with a group, like you said, issue seems like a kind of crazy or bad word, but it's really not. At that point, you're all discussing openly why did this happen? How can we fix it? Can we help? Is there a way to adjust it? It's good.
Chris Kaiser approached me so our quarterly was a couple of weeks ago, and Chris Kaiser approached me a couple of days before and said, hey, I put together a 20 slide deck on something that we have to pivot and have to change. So it's an issue. It's not an issue, but it could be an issue if we don't do this as an agency, because then our clients fall behind and then we're not a good agency. So that's the kind of, that's very important to identify those. But what you do is you got your weekly, you got your quarterlies, you come up to your annual. Did you hit your 1 year plan from revenue to profit to measurables to goals for the year? Yes or no? You hopefully say yes. And then what the really cool thing is, and you think more bigger picture here, as you go to your 3 year and your 10 year, if you looked at our 2023, June of 2023, what our 3 year picture was to be in June of 2026, we hit it. We more than hit it. Mm-hmm. And that is a cool thing to do because 3 years is, it's quite a bit down the road. Well, no, it's not really. And what we're doing every day leads to that 3 year. So it sounds simple.
It does sound simple.
It's not simple.
It sounds kind of light even.
Yeah.
Like you look at the page, like there's not a lot on there. I know how to plan. I know how to be held accountable. You think so, but like the crazy part is I think it's not just the structure of the process here for traction, but I think it's the discipline of doing it every week, doing it every quarter, doing it on the annual, and discussing as a group. It really makes the difference in this program.
And here's the beauty of it is every week. Sometimes we have some, and by the way, you have to fight on behalf of your department or your company, and we have to make things better, right? So there are some weeks where I don't get a good old 10 of a score because some of these meetings they're 30 minutes. We have plans in place, actions are happening, and this is a quick meeting. We always block an hour and 15 minutes, and sometimes it goes every bit of an hour and 15 minutes.
Sometimes it doesn't.
We don't force it. Today, coming out of quarterly, I would imagine this is a lighter meeting. But it's not, we're canceling it. Hey, we need to meet. We need to make sure we're on track for our goals.
Because you kind of never know when someone in the group may have an issue or something they need to discuss.
Absolutely. And then the big thing is on issues. Issues are company level, department level issues. We're not talking about, if you is an issue, and we've learned this through doing this over the years, a person should never be an issue.
Right.
If Roop is having trouble with Claude doesn't get elevated to which he never has trouble with you. You're perfect, Claude. Claude would never be mentioned in those meetings because Roop is the department head. And let's say I have a problem with Claude. I go to Roop. Yeah. Hey, man, X, Y, and Z happen. Again, Claude's perfect. She would never. So you don't have personnel discussions here. These are company things of how you grow. And it's grow or die, baby. You got to grow. So as you think about this departmentally, right? You're not a C-suite executive. That's okay. How can you implement a plan in place where, and a very, very, very important thing is, this is not just for the executive team here at Littlefield Agency.
Oh, that's a good point.
You run departmental meetings. Rocco runs departmental meetings. Brock runs his meetings, and Chris runs his meetings. And so everyone here at the agency is on EOS and traction. And you start with your best personal news, your best business news. And then Roop is working specifically with Claude to make sure that she is doing what she needs to do to hit her goals.
Yeah.
Capiche?
Yeah, capiche. And the thing you missed there is that those meetings, the departmental meetings, follow the same structure that the L10 meetings follow. That's the same as the offsite and the annual.
And then I have my their monthly meetings with all of my direct reports. And we're talking about, hey, what is in your potential way to not achieve your ROC? We're having those. I'm checking on you personally, checking in on him professionally. Is there anything interdepartmentally that needs to be going on? Let's think about you all listening in the marketing world, right? Hey, IT is not getting us what we need. Oof, we've heard that before.
Issue.
Right? Issue. That is a direct issue. Well, why isn't IT sharing valuable data that's pertinent to marketing and to help us close the loop at a whatever level? That's a big issue. I bet those of you listening, you've probably dealt with that in the past. So how do we overcome that issue? How do we close more qualified leads? How do we send more leads to the dealers? Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And the big thing is, what's it? BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals, right? Yeah. That used to be an ism here, and I'm sure you guys have heard it over the years. These aren't big, insane goals. No, what you're trying to do on by the way, they have to be tangible.
Yeah.
They can't be far. Oh, I want to go land 50 new clients this year. Well, A, we don't. B, we're very selective on who we work with, but there are plans in place for me on a quarterly basis to hit our growth goals. And as we work through them, they're tangible and very doable.
Yeah, and a lot of our other goals are to support you in doing that, so it kind of rolls up.
So, Roop, as we're kind of thinking here and wrapping, for those listening, especially those within the marketing world, what would you suggest? Like if you were to give them one tip, do you have anything?
I mean, first you got to read the book.
Yep.
And I would say read it instead of the audiobook. But the big tip I think you said early on when we started this was we were going to dedicate ourselves to it for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yep. So, which I thought we were on year 5. We are on year 4.
Yeah. So like there was a concept that you could easily fall off the wagon here and not have your weeklies, not have your quarterlies, and definitely not your annual. Like there's opportunity to just kind of give up on it and not not hold yourself accountable to the system. I would say hold yourself accountable to the system and give it time to work.
Yep.
Like when you start day one, dedicate yourself to at least 2 to 3 years.
Totally. And Rocco would be the first to tell you, even though he doesn't listen to this podcast, he never comes in as a guest.
He's been on once.
Because he's like, man, in his 21 years here at the agency, he was like, we've tried a lot of things. And he was like, this is one of the few things that we tried and we decided, we saw success and we decided to stick with it.
Just got universal buy-in.
This is a very, very good thing. So as you're thinking, and if you're a marketing director, right, and you're not even on the executive team at your company, go invest. This book, I've got a hard copy. He's got a soft copy. What, $15, $20? Get
$17.
$17. $17. Buy it for your team. You read it first. You implement it. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but how cool would it be if you start magically hitting your goals, and then you go to the C-suite and say, hey, implemented this little book called Traction, and we have seen great success, and we found success departmentally. We would love to see this company go to the next level. How do we get from $1 billion to $2 billion? How do we get from $150 million to $250 million in annual revenue? There is a way to do it, and it's just through this book and this accountability measure, and that is what I had.
And at the end of each meeting, we review the meeting on a scale of 1 to 10.
We alluded to this last week, and it's total BS at our agency.
So there are some rules around it. If the meeting is less than, is it 7?
If it's less than an 8, it's a bad meeting.
Less than 8, it becomes an issue, I think.
It becomes an issue. Why was that meeting
so
7?
bad? What happened in the meeting? So there's a few rules for Sam. He can only get a 10 if he feeds us, because these meetings are always over lunch. Is lunch coming today, Sam?
No.
So what's the best you can expect out of
Roop?
A
9.
That's right.
Boo.
That's right. So there's some rules around it, but like at the end, you try to do we feel like we accomplished anything? Do we feel like we discussed issues that needed to be discussed? Or did nothing get done? And there's been meetings where we're like, there was really nothing to talk about. Nothing really got done here, but those are 8s. I mean, those are lower ones.
Yeah.
Not through any fault of our own, just timing and how they work.
For sure.
But like the review part is, I know, important to you.
It is. By the way, for the record, the worst I think I've ever given a meeting is a 9.5, and I must have been in a bad mood.
Yeah, that's
always
crazy.
a 10 when I'm with our crew.
He's always holding out hope.
And here's the big deal is this is awesome. By the way, we're getting 0 commission off this.
Yeah.
We're in no way tied. I would love to meet Gino Wickman, the author of this book, who he credits this book and this measure to his father.
I think he was at Inbound a few years ago.
Was he really?
I think so.
I would have shook his hand and said, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I do credit, and I give a shout out to Scott Vaughn. Scott, you turned us on to this. We took it very seriously. This is just an awesome thing. If you have questions about this, by the way, someone, a random person, not random, I know him, texted me last night. It's like, hey, who's your implementer? I had a whole conversation about it. So there's a lot of companies that are on this. There are other measures outside of EOS. We kind of looked at one earlier this year. We really like this. We all agreed to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The last thing you want to do as a department or a company, you never want to run with the status quo. This book is a reminder for all of us. If we're not challenging each other and there's not tense moments, then we're not growing. We're doing quite the opposite, which is dying. So that's what we don't want to do. If you have questions, hit us up. Roopster, closing thoughts?
I give this podcast a 9.
Wow. No food.
No food.
No 10?
You can't win without food.
Can I get a 10?
Yeah.
Thank God.
We're going to talk about this in our weekly.
Hey, next week, this is really fun. Get excited. We have Sharon Torek. She is a lawyer who specializes in intellectual property. In the world of AI, she's going to join us as a guest on the Littlefield Agency Little Talks podcast. Sharon, we can't wait to have you on virtually. We had a prep call with her earlier this week. It's going to be some great content. Really insightful. I think our minds are literally going to be blown on this call, so it'll be a good time. So Sharon, stay tuned. We're excited to see you. For our listeners, thank you as always for listening. A different topic this week, something different to think about as you get into planning, as you get into the latter half of this year, because the new year will be here before we know it. Rock on, 10 for me. Love you, brother. I'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. We hope you found a spark of inspiration for your marketing strategy. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us at Littlefield Agency to keep the conversation going. Catch you next time.